welcome to Empowering Small Businesses, the Stop at Nothing campaign in association with CNBC TV18 and Moneycontrol, brought to you by Dell Technologies. And I'm your host, Ruchira Sharma. This is a series of ongoing, engaging, and insightful dialogues focused on exploring the critical role of digital transformation in building business resilience for the small and medium sector. As we all know, the MSME sector is a huge catalyst for economic growth. Small and medium businesses can thrive if powered with the right tools, the right talent, and the customized solutions that they need to stay ahead. That is the topic of this discussion, a future ready framework that SMBs can adopt now. Through this discussion, we will examine how emerging technologies can herald a new era of innovation for businesses to pivot to growth. So, before we dive into this discussion, let me begin by introducing our esteemed panelists. We have with us Mr. Nilesh Lele, President at Chamber for Advancement of Small and Medium Businesses, Mr. Vivek Belgavi, PwC India Partner, Alliances and Ecosystems Leader. He works at the intersection of technology, policy, and disruption. We also have Mr. Deepak Ramteke, co-founder and partner, Word Publishing, and Mr. Mohammad Miraj Ansari, product marketing manager, Dell Technologies. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining in today. Mr. Vivek, I'd like to start with you. What are the standard expectations of small businesses that a tech company should prepare itself for in the near future?
Thanks, Ruchira. I think it's a complex topic, and I think the challenge is we may not be able to paint the entire spread of MSMEs, and by different counts, it's over 60 million plus under one brushstroke. But some common themes are one, allow them to get control of their own money, the finances, both in
All right.
terms of finances required for doing transactions as well as areas like credit, insurance, so on and so forth. The second big area is for them to get control of the supply chains, both on the input side, output side, logistics. Think of
All right.
about a farmer, a small micro farmer, might be able to create good produce, but unless one has got control over logistics, one gets dependent upon traditional value chains, which are not really built for remunerating the producer, so to speak. Uh,
All right.
these two are the main pillars. Then there are other aspects such as marketing. We still do not have easy avenues for a micro entrepreneur to market well using whatever easy platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, internet, Google, so on and so forth. And what I think can bridge the gap is some technology and some common assets. The good thing is we have seen a lot of traction both from policy end.
All right.
Every state center government is supporting it, but also a lot of action coming up in the startup ecosystem. So between those two factors, we see as well as some technology areas like cloud getting adopted more. So some of those trends could be helpful in ameliorating some of the concerns.
Running an SMB has always been difficult, but the pandemic has only made it tougher. 71% of small and medium business owners say that they survived the pandemic primarily because of the power of digitalization. So, as small businesses scale up, what are the primary challenges that they face? Mr. Deepak, if you could answer that for us.
So I do agree with my colleagues here. What he said about SMEs, what are the challenges facing? So like I started my business when we had virtually faced all these things. So apart from this, what I would like to add here is that some of the key characteristics I would say
Mhm.
for a future ready framework a company, a small business enterprise should have is they should be ready to take a risk, and they should be very proactive in all these things. So that's one thing. They need key framework here. The key thing. The other thing is that they need to have access to right networking, right resources, and all. So they should be able to get to the market, get find out right resources, right mobilize the network they have. So these are the things which I utilize during my business, startup business, and deploy them, like deploying the right resources in the right places and getting them ready for your helping them to move accelerate your business. So that is one thing. Also, I felt that being flexible on the business strategies was a key thing here, because a lot of times, like small businesses, and they face like dilemma whether they should be doing this kind of strategy, or they should, what is the right strategy they should be following. So flexibility with the business strategy and the business model is a key thing here also, I feel,
All right.
apart from all the challenges which my colleague mentioned.
Great. Thank you for sharing that insight there. Coming to you, Mr. Nilesh, what is your experience here? What are the kind of user scenarios that you've seen? How can business owners really understand their exact needs, and are they equipped to describe and understand or get the right solutions from technology companies?
Thank you. So, I'm myself a business owner and also represent an SME chamber. And what we have realized is that the SME owner is a one-man show, and many times he has to handle so many different aspects of his business that he gets overwhelmed. He typically faces three key challenges, like also referred to the earlier panelist. One is the marketing part of things. The second is the finance or the credit or the banking lending part of things, and third is the new available technology. It's a little difficult for the SME owner to actually reach out and get all these access and updates on all of these things. So, as part of our chamber, and I think as part of a complete ecosystem, we should try to reach the SME owner, or rather than expecting him to reach back to us. And there are a lot of government initiatives also, like there's a GEM portal where government e-marketplace where a lot of buying happens from the PSUs, which these SMEs can tap into, but I believe less than 5% SMEs actually know about it. Or there are so many other initiatives like the Samadhan, the Trades, where right from the PO funding to the funds receivable to credit receivable. So a lot of these initiatives are there, and I think we as an ecosystem need to reach the SME owner rather than expecting him to reach these initiatives. Is something that we should look to do, because he tends to be overwhelmed in his day-to-day firefighting kind of a scenario. And definitely through initiatives like these, technology providers like these can help SMEs grow further.
Great. Very important point brought here by you, Mr. Nilesh. Mr. Deepak, I'd like to come to you here. Running an SMB, as Mr. Nilesh also mentioned, is always hard. And the pandemic has only made it worse. So 71% of SMB says that they survive the pandemic only because of digitalization. So as small businesses scale up, according to you, what are the primary challenges that they face, and how do you think they can be overcome going forward?
So as a small business setup, I always faced a challenge. The main challenge which I faced was like, apart from the networking, getting all the access to all the resources and all, I faced challenge was like getting the right people to work for me to get the work done. Because as a one man show, I can't do everything. Like I need a good team of core people, and that's where I faced the challenge of getting the right talent. And also the main challenge I faced was getting access to finances and funding. That was the one thing which I faced. Like I wanted to make some like go ahead make some business decisions, and like I needed funds for that. And that was the one thing which is like I was like not I was not sure where to access, what place to go, how do I get the right finances, funds and all for my expansion plan, growth and all. So that was the main challenge I faced during the time. So this is where as a businessman, a small businessman, that's the biggest challenge we have. And that's where a lot of businesses and all, they that's the biggest first bottleneck they face, and they are not able to overcome that, and that's where they feel actually they don't take risk and all.
Research shows that digital infrastructure has a very strong impact on growth, on adaptive capacity, and maximizing efficiency. Yet, digital adoption is slower than it should be. So, what are the primary reasons for that?
Yeah, absolutely, Ruchira. And what Deepak also mentioned is really a lesson from the ground. It's difficult for an individual entrepreneur who has to balance so many things to solve everything oneself. Some things which we have seen helped is when such initiatives are taken by certain industry bodies. So we have seen that as you get into MSME value chain, whether it is software industry, agriculture, fabrics and fashion, so on and so forth, there are industry associations built. And some of the better adopted mechanisms that we have seen is when a bunch of people come together and adopt certain things. So it also helps in ecosystem adoption, and also the onus doesn't fall on a single individual. So yes, all of them are pertinent issues.
All
But
right.
again, how do we get to individual on their own is a challenge, and that's where probably working in cooperatives will help.
All right. The COVID 19 outbreak is a striking example of the role that SMEs play in ensuring resilience and sustainability. But how can digitalization help small businesses improve business processes? Mr. Mohammed, if you could take us through some use cases and talk about examples of how digital transformation has really become a reality for small business owners.
while nearly all businesses have been impacted, I think SME sectors, which is the backbone of our economy, has been hit hard, right? One of the most vulnerable sectors during pandemic, and that's because largely of its size, maybe scale of business, or low liquidity and limited digital adoption that they had, right?
Mhm.
The most affected ones are those who probably hadn't had adopted the technology as their core driver, right? I mean,
Correct.
as you rightly said, right, there's a survey which says that almost 70% or more than 70% of the SMBs which could survive the pandemic largely because of the fact that they had a robust digital ecosystem. Okay, so that's important of digitalization we're talking about. I'm going to give you some number, right? So there was some research I was just going through, Dun and Bradstreet has done, right? And it talks about that how digitalization of daily activities, right, during this pandemic has reduced them, cut down the operational cost by almost 54%. So that's a pretty whopping number, right? And that
Yes.
eventually helps in enhancing their competitiveness.
Mhm.
Let's look at in terms of how digitalization has helped SMEs, right? So what are their challenges they generally face? So digitalization has helped SMEs to meet their not their their employees' need. They also help meet their partners and customers, right, by adopting and leveraging digital technology to run their businesses by means of adoption like digital product, be it a CRM tool or talk about the e-commerce platform to to sell, advertise, and deliver products. Right, all this while probably before the COVID they might be doing offline, but with this
Yes.
COVID they realize the importance of e-commerce platform. Online payment is one of them, right? Empowering workforce, I think very important for us to understand, right, to retain the right talent and making sure that we empower them with the right technology because
Mhm.
that's when they're going to be more productive, right? And with the help of latest technology, right, be it cloud computing, we've got virtual apps and video meeting that makes and ensure that the employees are seamlessly connected, right, wherever they're working. I mean, given the fact there was lockdown, people working remote, I think these are the key element that's required. Last but not the least, I just want to add, right, machine learning and artificial intelligence has been the talk of town, right? And I think with the involvement of MI and AI and machine learning, I think we just help improve the business operation, improvise it further, right? With the AI applications such as automated customer services bot, right? You don't need to really depend on the individual human to sort of support some of these key, services for the customer. Product management, product recommendation engines, and expert shopping advisor system. These are some of the things that I think it's going to be, key. And I think the organizations who had adopted the digitization
Mhm.
is basically have survived this pandemic, or probably tackled that in a better way.
Coming to you, Mr. Vivek. So, innovation is integral to SME survival, and research has shown that digital infrastructure has a very strong impact on growth and adaptive capacity. But digital innovations have become expensive, and are they widely available? Do you think that there are enough customized solutions for small and medium businesses?
Good question, Ruchir. I think let me start by saying that a lot of facilities are available, but there is still some ground to cover. So I think the starting point has to be first knowing which area am I interested in getting a solution for. And between all the panelists, between what Mohammed said, Deepak said, and Nilesh said, we could see some common themes emerging that we need solutions around finances, we need, which could be payments to credit, we need solutions around the supply chain, we need solutions around upskilling and training, and probably we need solutions on marketing. Let's say we just pick up those four buckets. Then the
Mhm.
place to go, in my mind, would be cloud first. Start looking at, because you would want solutions where you would want to pay, let's say, subscription based models. You may not want to acquire heavy duty software that you don't know how to manage. So on demand, on service apps is your first go to. So think about app stores, think about cloud platforms. And what we have seen as we are working with different cloud partners is they've started creating SMB marketplace ecosystems around themselves. So that would be
Sure.
probably first place to go. The second place I could think about, as I mentioned earlier, is think about your associations. We are
Mhm.
aware of many such SMB focused innovative technology companies who, again, see from their lens, they find it very difficult to reach each and every MSME because there are so many of them. So they have started partnering with associations. So probably that is the other lookout when you will start looking at solutions.
All right. Mr. Deepak, what is your experience? Do you think that the right solutions or the right tools for small and medium businesses are readily available, and are they affordable enough for small and medium businesses?
I think when initially when we started, like when the COVID pandemic hit us, we were not aware about these kind of customized solutions available in the market, and we went to big sellers and all, and they were not affordable for us. and we didn't have the budget to invest. So that is where we came across some few very good customized solution, cloud-based solution, which helped us, like a simple solution like a Slack. We are a tech company, so we had to connect with our customers
Mhm.
directly, and Slack was one of the channel which we used, and it was a very customized, cheap solution for us, rather than going for an entire big solution, which was not designed for our requirement. So these are the things we came across as we are researching and trying to find out the best solution for us. But now we know, we learn through it. But as Mr. Lely was saying, that there are associations and all which we need to be get in touch with them rather than they coming to us. So that is where for us is learning that we need to be reaching out to those places and the associations where we can get all this information readily available, rather than reinventing the wheel and trying to learn and de-learn old things and learn new things, and go for a because everything is not like, as a small businessman, as a
Mhm.
one business owner, it's not possible for me to have all the six skills and tech know-how to explore all these products and find the right solution. So that's, I think, a business association or partnering with them is the right solution, I think.
All right. Mr. Mohammed, coming to you. So, where can a small business owner really find the right solutions suited for their operations? And what are the kind of challenges that they face while moving towards, a tech upgrade?
Well, I think this is very good question, Shira. I think it's very apt here, right? How do we talk about choosing the right technology partner? That is very important, right? With the virtue of their small size, right, compared to their larger counterpart, SMBs are more agile in terms of adopting to the new technology to meet the need of their customer, right? But at the same time, right, one hand they're very quick to adapt, but at the same time, many businesses found it difficult to adapt to a new technology upgrade because there could be a host of challenges they face, which range from IT infrastructure, capital investment, and data security, to name a few. But these challenges can definitely be easily addressed, right, by having a structured approach in terms of what is the right technology and the product which is going to be best suited for the organization and their need, right? And like for example, business owners understand their business very well, but the question here is that do they understand the kind of server or the storage specifications? I'm just giving some example, right, that they need, which will be best suited for their requirement, right? So, and that is where you're choosing the right technology partner like come into picture, because who can be a true technology advisor and help SMEs design their customized IT solution, and which is
Mhm.
best suited for the organization growth, right? Choosing the right technology partner, it actually brings a host of benefits, which involves right designing is optimized cost optimum solution, which can without compromising the output, will help reducing the operating cost, because that's one of the key challenge that we see. We hear SMEs talk about, right? Streamline the workflows. How do we integrate multiple department? You already probably have a existing IT infrastructure. How do you
That-
integrate your upgrade in the existing IT infrastructure? That they're going to help. And most importantly, we are talking about digitization, which also brings in a lot of challenges in terms of security. So it's very important that we have a right set of security solution in place to avoid and protect SMEs from any cyber threat, right? So that's something which is very important. And I'll just want to quote one more research. I mean, there was a
Sure.
research recently done by Salesforce, which talks about that 99% of your Indian SMB is going to are planning to offer a contactless services permanently, right? They're going to talk about leading with secure digital payments and mobile orders. We are already seeing that trend coming up. But then that's the kind of investment or the plan that they have. So I firmly believe that small businesses have the positive sentiment towards revival, but it's just that they need to choose the right technology advisor, and that's where companies like Dell, I mean, who comes into picture to help design a tailor-made solution to meet their requirement, which will definitely help, because we believe in that, right? One size doesn't fit all. So we need to really customize and tailor-made solution based on the sector or the customer that they're addressing to. Yeah.
Research shows that digital infrastructure has a very strong impact on growth, on adaptive capacity, and maximizing efficiency. Yet, digital adoption is slower than it should be. So, what are the primary reasons for that?
Good question, Ruchira. And probably I think to be honest, we don't have a very long history. While the MSMEs have been there for a long time, the real pace of digitization, or the way we are talking about this today, and the way
Mhm.
Mohammed touched upon all the key dimensions, that really has taken off in just last couple of years. So first, I just want to caveat by saying that it's a recent trend. probably COVID accelerated it. Otherwise, we were living in a very, very physical world. But having said that, what we are seeing is the diversity of problems that you would find at the last mile is very high. The
Mm-hmm.
problem could vary from language, something as simple as language, that we would require something which could work smoothly. Like we talk about voice bots, but how many voice bots do we know that which are truly functional across different languages and dialects, right? So that could be a problem. Infrastructure could be a problem. Then as we get into remote spaces, the network isn't as available or effective and resilient or even cost effective as you would like it to be.
Mm-hmm.
We speak about hardware infrastructure. The hardware infrastructure again has recently picked up where low cost POS has started becoming available. So I think we need probably a mixture of physical digital models. We need like more adoption of things like QR code. We have
Mm-hmm.
been talking about barcodes, but it's good to say barcode, but imagine a remote farmer where the person print a barcode. So there are some
Mm-hmm.
physical challenges like that at the last mile, which are stopping some adoption from going mainstream. But as I said, where I see light at the end of the tunnel is a lot of smart individuals and large enterprises have brought their focus into this segment. So we are seeing more tailored, targeted solutions. And I don't think this would be a space where, unlike an enterprise space where we have top three ERPs covering most of the market, my kind of estimation here is we might see lot more different types of service providers emerge and thrive as we
Okay.
bring most of the MSMEs into the digital fold.
Sure. Deepak, what is your?
Ruchiraji, can I come in? Can I add
Yes,
something?
definitely. Please do. Yeah.
Yeah. So we also need to understand that when we talk about 11 crore people being employed by MSMEs and SMBs and whatever amount of SMEs we have, we need
Mm-hmm.
to segment it based on the subsectors or the industry. And I work very closely with agriculture and farming and food, and
Mm-hmm.
almost 16 to 20% of GDP is contributed by them, and
Definitely.
55% or more population is engaged directly or indirectly engaged in that. But
Mm-hmm.
what we have been discussing right now is more based on what a IT company or a tech company can understand. A lot of food industry or agriculture or farmers are very far away from understanding what an artificial intelligence or a machine learning or all these IoT things can actually do for their business. Secondly,
Mm-hmm.
nobody is educating them on the cost benefit analysis of adopting these technologies. So they are
Mm-hmm.
far away. And if I've seen some of the numbers, I think one in every alternate new SME that is coming up is in the food industry. So we need
Yes.
to really go out, and since food is something close to my heart, and that's why I'm trying to put it out. Like all the discussion has been on stack and development and technology platform and ERP. The food
Mm-hmm.
industry, 90% of it is far away from implementing some of these things because we don't even understand the language that on the technology front that we are speaking.
And of course, budget constraint is also a major concern. They are so caught up in their operations and the budgets that they cannot really consider, making this investment towards technology solutions.
Definitely.
All right. So, Mr. Deepak, what is your insight here? Give us your own experience or your own learnings. Technology is an enabler; it increases efficiency, and yet companies are, not doing the process or the journey of digital adoption as fast as they should be. So, what is your own experience here?
So my own experience is that we always like the small businessman always like he's on tight on budgets and all cost. So whenever he has to go for this first of all, there's like there are like a lot of new businesses, new solutions coming in the market. So like what is the right solution, what is the right cost, and what is the returns he's going to get out of it. So that's the information which is missing missing when he's trying to make a decision, and that's where we think twice before going and investing in these kind of technologies. That's what happens here. Actually, that's what happened with us also. So is it like, is there something better? How is it going to give me some returns kind of thing? So how is it going to help me to leverage and reach out to my customers? So if you talk about farming and those agriculture business, so they need to reach out to new market, new businesses and all. But then is there a solution, right solution available in the market where a farmer or a small businessman can utilize that, a digital platform or a digital application which is there, which can help him to reach out to his customer end customers and all, and how we can cut down all the middlemans and then take the best out of it. So that's where this information, the right information, right solution, and what is the solution which will help him in the long term, as this kind of knowledge, know-how is like was is most of the time it's missing. and
All right.
so that's where that's the biggest challenge for us as well. So, and that is where it slows down the decision making process, slows down the investment process, and also the availability of funds. Like sometimes the solutions are a bit expensive, or
All right.
as, yeah, we are talking about subscription based solutions which do help, but a lot of times these are like the initial investment of infrastructure. What kind of infrastructure I need, what kind of hardware infrastructure I need. So that's where we were partnering with Dell, and Dell did help us to understand what kind of hardware we should, what kind of servers we should be buying, because investing in servers and cloud-based solutions sometimes is is a big investment for us. And
Definitely.
if you don't make the right decisions, that investment is gone for, we can't, it's a dead investment. So
Yes.
sometimes these kind of things, challenges are the things which slow down the decision making process here.
Great. Thank you for that. But the good news is that you don't need to be a tech expert to actually take your business through the digital transformation process. There are plenty of tools that can facilitate the digital transformation journey, and technology companies are supporting this journey for small businesses. So, Mohammed, coming to you, SMBs typically fear that traditional technology vendors are not keen on doing business with this sector. And I like to quote a ERP vendor that it takes me the same time and cost to sell to an SME as a large company, and my realization per sale is much lower. So it is not economical for me to sell to SMEs. So, how are you at Dell Technologies bridging this gap?
Oh, well, I think it's a very important one. I'd like to begin saying by this, right? At Dell Technologies, entrepreneurship is part of our DNA, right? I mean, if you look at the history of how Michael Dell has evolved this organization, I think entrepreneurship is part of our DNA. So definitely, there's no two ways about it. Now, our aim is to basically help people and SMEs to, to an organization achieve more with the help of technology. How we are helping a business expand the network, make sure that we provide them the right valuable resources, and how technology can enable them thrive, innovate, and grow. So that's the aim, or that's the aim that we are having at Dell Technologies. Now I'm going to give out some of the point that we talked about, right? We spoke about there are probably some SMEs may not be comfortable, they don't understand the technology that much, and that's where the small business advisor program that we have designed specifically to address these needs of the SMEs, right, wherein employee size up to 99 can receive free assistance on how to plan and optimize their technology investment. That's where these specialists who are highly trained, right, they've been through more than 160 hours of training, and they're dedicatedly available only and only to support our SB customers via email, chat, and phone, to guide them plan their investment in technology, and also to show them the ROI, right, how it's going to impact, show them the cost benefit analysis as well. So that's
Mhm.
one part of it. Now we all know for the fact that during the lockdown we had offline businesses shut completely, while with our e-commerce platform Dell.com, we continue to serve our customer with their IT hardware needs, right, where customers can go and they can customize and buy the PC as they need, whatever is they're looking for, be it from a small peripherals to as high end as a server. 24 by 7, order seamlessly with a multiple payment option that we have on the website, which includes the no cost EMI as well, right? Because some of us talked about financing, so we also provide the no cost EMI on our Dell.com. You don't need to
All
really
right.
have any human interface there, right? Last but not the least, I want to also talk about there is a unique reward program that we have designed, and that shows the commitment that we have towards our small business customer, right? Exclusively designed reward program for our small business customer, which basically involves giving discount coupons for their purchases. That really motivates them to sort of help them in their cost operations as well, with these discounting that we give them, especially for them. So with all this that I spoke about, right, and the exclusive go to market strategy, we have a separate small business team, right? They are exclusively working with the small business customers, right? With this exclusive go to market strategy that we have, we're really continue to solidify our position as a one stop shop for all the technology needs of SMEs.
All right. So great. That definitely means there are enough solutions. You just have to go to the right partner, choose the right partner, and find the right solutions that are suited for your operations. But just before we wrap up, coming to you, Mr. Nilesh and Vivek, work from home, of course, has added a new dimension. And small and medium businesses were also struggling with this during the pandemic. So living up to the reality that co-workers are not located at the same place and are dispersed all over, geographical areas. How did you overcome that with, technology?
Nilesh, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So, work from home is probably more applicable in the service industry than the manufacturing industry, and I represent more of a manufacturing sector. So, in our factory, in fact, being in food industry, some of the food industry actually thrived a lot in the COVID scenario. So, we were probably working round the clock, 24 hours, in a much more structured way. But work from home was not really an option. But though I've seen because of my wife and all that yes, work from home is becoming an accepted model where it will also give a better work life balance. And if the right the KRAs and KPIs have been given, the expectation from the employee is mapped out, then definitely work from home can be a good option, where it can also reduce on the operational costs for the company, at the same time give the employee a more option to spend time with his family at home. So something that I think is here to stay, especially in the service industry, where it can be a hybrid, maybe 2 days a week they can come in the office. And it has taught us a lot, like what we are doing right now, or a lot of these online platforms have become very popular for meetings, which is
Yes,
probably
they have
making
become a
things
way of
more
life.
efficient. Yes, they have become way of life. So what is called a new normal, I believe work from home will be part of new normal.
All right.
Just to add on, I think it taught us some things which we thought were not possible were possible. It also
Mm-hmm.
taught us that some we still need a lot of physical touch. So there are aspects such as access to information, or like one of the apps that we were working with our clients was on let's say co-selling, because so
Mm-hmm.
much of sales was driven on a face-to-face manner. But how
All
can you do the same, let's say, information-driven selling
right.
while sitting at home, your customer is sitting at home? Like some of those challenges were uh, overcome by using
Right.
digital mechanisms. But there is so much of other things such as motivation, loyalty, co-thinking, innovation,
Which can
which
only be
maybe
done
are
in person.
yeah, which really
Yes.
requires that interaction, which I don't think digital channel has really sufficed. And I'm sure a lot of us would have similar experiences.
Absolutely. Very well pointed out there. But just before we wrap up, one quick question for all of you. Over half of SMEs are struggling to be future ready and they need more support going forward. So, what is your advice for small and medium business owners who want to be future ready and adopt a future ready framework? We can begin with you, Mr. Mohammed.
Well, I think I spoke about, I touched upon what are their challenges, right? Liquidity, make sure they have the right technology, which will be suited as per their need, customized solution, and most importantly, engage and have association with the right technology, right partner who can guide you with the right product and solution, which will help you basically meet your customers and your employees requirements. So I think that's going to be very key to sort of address. And like a company like Dell, I mean, we have got the immense amount of experience to support SBs, be it from the infrastructure, IT infrastructure point of view, or anything to do with the consultant approach, right? So I think that'll be key from my point of view, to have a right technology enabled for them.
Definitely. Mr. Nilesh, what is your insight here? What is your advice to small and medium business owners going forward?
So, like we have kept saying, that technology is an enabler, and definitely technology should be used to achieve more from less. So, our resources may remain the same or may shrink, but we should be able to achieve more, and that's how the technology should be used. Unfortunately, SMEs are have been in past at least slow in adopting some of these technologies, primarily because of the cost benefit. Because many times the cost is upfront and the
Mhm.
benefit is actually achieved over the time. So
Over a period of
sometimes they're not
time.
able to see that big picture. But definitely, COVID-19 has taught us a lot of things: to be nimble-footed, to be able to adapt and adopt based on make quick decisions. And definitely, SME is in a much better position to be more nimble-footed and adapt changes in a faster way. So I'm very positive and confident that SMEs will play a much bigger role in,
All right.
especially in the Indian economy.
Great. Mr. Deepak, according to you, what are the imperatives for a future ready framework that small and medium businesses can adopt to withstand future shocks in the post pandemic world?
So I do agree with all my counterparts here that what is required now. So earlier, like before pandemic, we were we as a businessman, like small business, were more focused on investing in people and processes. But now
Mhm.
with the pandemic, we had a big hit, and we had to think about, now let's also invest in technology as well. So this is where, like, I feel that people, process, and technologies are the three cornerstones of actually, for a business to be ready for the future, any kind of future that might be there. And technology is just a means to the end. So I think adopting the latest technology, being flexible, and taking the risk of, and having that, removing the fear of a new technology kind of thing. So being more adaptable and more flexible towards, and think technology as part of their new, a new thing, which is there to stay. And that's what I think is important. People, process, and technology are the three important things.
Absolutely. People, process, and technology are critical to growth going forward. Mr. Vivek, your closing comments.
Yeah, I think my colleagues have covered a lot of things very well. I'll just add on a different dimension to say probably my ask would be more partnerships, both from public and private, as well as private to private. There are
Mhm.
still aspects of SMB business like compliance, tax, which adds a lot of friction points to their lives. And my colleague Nilesh mentioned about food and agriculture, that's specifically very highly compliance driven. So as we ease that out, and public policy has a big role to play, it can almost like GST, it can fast track digitizations, which again then private partnerships can then help in taking it to the next level.
Great. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your insights. And definitely going forward, small and medium businesses need to create a strong digital ecosystem to foster growth. They need to acquire the right tools and the right talent for their digital transformation journey. And we really hope that this discussion with industry leaders has encouraged SMEs to become the torch bearers for the future and adopt a future ready business model to thrive and survive in the new normal. So, thank you all for watching, and thank you, gentlemen.